suspicious. Don't be 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 suspicious. Wrong is a riddle. 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 Wrong is a riddle.
You have proved that you fight well. Now you can join us.
Keep cups. Wake up, check your phone. Ignore the alarm. You're still alone. Wake up, rewind the night. Who are you? But also kind of who am I? Wake up, check your phone. Pre-party for the apocalypse. Don't forget.
Hola, bienvenidos a
Hola,
I don't know how to say it.
en adultar.
No, es el adultar, like when you cheat. Like adultery.
Sí, somos adultoras. Ay,
Ahora sí.
So, talking about this body, analyzing the body and all that. Amanda Knox. Amanda
yeah.
Knox. You know, I'm pretty sure a lot of people are familiar with her story.
Yeah.
I don't know. I had seen her documentary like a while back, and then I saw it again. And seeing it this time, it just makes me like wonder.
have
Like
thought.
I think she didn't do it.
I have thoughts about the whole story. Like, I'm honestly confused about it because there are things, little things that tell, not how she was acting, just little things that make me think, like, why wouldn't you think that was weird?
Yeah, but then again, look at it this way.
Like,
She was like fucking young to begin with.
that has
And
nothing to do with it, though.
yes, because people act different. You know, you can't.
Not that's why I said not the way she was acting, just the way, like, for example, there's parts where it says that she goes into the house, the door's open. That's one sign. Like, it's weird, right? So
Yeah.
I would probably be looking inside scared, first of all. You go to the bathroom and take a shower, you see blood. And if you look at the pictures of the actual crime scene, like the blood, she makes it seem like, oh, I saw a little bit of blood. And I was like, oh, somebody cut themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at the pictures, it looks like something you should be worried about.
Yeah.
So you go in there and take a shower and come out and then see the rest of the blood. Like, you could have seen that coming in.
Yeah.
Like, and you didn't say anything. You showered and you noticed it at the end when you already done showering, and you start freaking out then.
Yeah, because even the boyfriend or the guy that she was seeing was like, how did she shower in there? It just looked creepy. I don't know if I would have showered, there, because
I wouldn't have, especially like, dude, let's say me and you live together, right?
But maybe
And
she's oblivious. Maybe she's just like a dude.
No, you go in, the door's open, and you're already creeped out about it because nobody's in there.
Yeah.
Nobody. So then I would probably look around, notice the broken glass, notice the blood, and then call the cops, But she went in there.
But the broken glass was in the girls'
in the house.
Was it in the house or in the girls' room?
No, it was in the house, in the kitchen, I think. Or something like that. I'm not sure.
I think
And they were, because the guy was saying, yeah, like the glass should have been on this side, not on this side.
Yeah.
And I just feel like there's more to the story, but I don't know,
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't go inside the bathroom and see all that and be like, oh, Lorena's okay. You know what I mean? Like, I would have started right away being like, what the fuck?
Well, let me call her. What the fuck happened here?
Like. Yeah, like, I don't know if you saw the pictures of the actual restroom. Look for it.
Yeah, I
Dude,
seen it.
No, that shit does not look like a little, like, oh, somebody just cut themselves. No,
yeah.
Dude. And you didn't see that big piece of shit in the beginning? Like, dude, that was a big poop. Like, she said she got freaked out when she saw that. Dude, seriously. I don't know, dude. I have my thoughts about her. I feel like
Yeah,
And
like a
then,
poop. Okay, first of all, like a poop hasn't scared you, Crystal.
I mean, not to the point that I'm gonna call the cops. The blood would have scared me. The open door would have scared me.
But the
But
poop scared her because she's
you
like,
just
wait a
brush it.
minute. That doesn't look like the girl's poop.
It's a monster's poop.
It has to be somebody else's poop.
Dude, I don't know.
It is somebody else's poop.
She's, I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. Like, okay, yeah, there's a lot of stupid things like that where I'm like, okay, yeah, it seems a little off. But at the same time, like the interrogation to me, and that's why I told you watch
To watch
when
that
they
other one. I
when
get
they
it.
see us because to me that's a whole different story, you know?
So I don't know, but why did she say that? Like,
Because
it's
I'm telling you.
different. It's different to the boy's story because she says she remembers.
Well, yeah, because they
Like,
make
oh
you
yeah, I
think.
think I remember that I was in the house and
I
we were
think I
drinking,
remember is a big like, you
and I feel like maybe she got drunk, and because she says she was in there when she heard yelling.
know, yeah.
And you know how when you get drunk, too, like honestly, if you think about it, when you're drunk and you're partying and then you hear shit, but you're partying, so you don't really pay attention to it.
Hmm.
And then you remember little parts of last night, like little pieces.
Yeah.
And I don't know, dude, it just seems weird to me.
I don't know.
I don't know, honestly, dude.
It's
But
just insane. It's
like, I want to
insane.
think that she's innocent because I mean, she seems like a nice person, but then there's things that make me think otherwise. Like, I don't know, but I
But
know people were
what's
talking about how she was acting like she was outside making out when the
yeah,
cops were
like
searching the house and find her body. She was making out with this fool Raffaello.
Raphael. Raphael. I don't know. It's just like crazy because I feel like that could have been like a badass time. You know, you're over there.
It could have been a cool time, and she ended
And
up
then
being in
this
the
shit happened, and it's like either you did it or she did it, whatever happened. It just sucks for the like. What I felt bad was the girl, the dead girl's mom,
Oh,
because at the end, plus it turns out like they exonerated her and the guy.
Raphael.
So like at the end, but no se supo like nothing. Like you don't know what the fuck happened. You know, you're still there's so many questions, and your
Well,
daughter is dead. You know.
they ended up saying that it was that guy
Oh
that raped
yeah,
her.
they did because there
She
was a lot
raped
of
her, and
evidence. There was a lot of actual, but then again, it was so messy. It was just so messy, and then the reason they exonerated like they were like, you know what, we have to just fucking let it go because
didn't find
it
any
was so
DNA.
messy. Like the whole like trying to get evidence and everything. Everybody was in there going in and out. You know, they weren't even like covered or whatever. And then it was so media based, like everybody from the US in
Italy,
Paris, Italy, whatever.
Italia, and like I thought it was fucked up that he said though that it was that she left.
He said that.
Yeah, he said that Amanda Knox left. He said she did leave. She wasn't with me all night.
Oh, okay. I was saying, oh, that's right.
Yeah,
I was saying, well, yeah, but that's what I'm telling you. There's things that's why there's a lot of like times that there falls what is it, confessions, because
yeah,
of the way that the
the
limits or the
classification.
fucking how they interrogate you, like they know how to get into your head, you know, that
Yeah.
at the end you're just like, fuck, what do you want me to say, you know, like I
Well,
already
no,
told you
dude. No
everything
is
I told
no.
you. Yes, but
No
even
is
then, like
like
there's you just
if I
don't.
were if I were to sit here and say, Lorena, you fucking
Es que
killed
no
her,
es lo
like
mismo, no es
you
lo
it is.
mismo,
I'm
no
not
es lo
gonna go
mismo,
like you
because
better say something or you're not gonna go home. And I get it when you're
but it's
kids.
because they do a lot of things. ¿Qué le hicieron a los niños? Oh, I'm gonna fucking your dad's gonna fucking lose his job. Your dad this and that, or you want to go home to your parents, right? And you don't want anything to
But
happen to
those are
them and things.
kids.
Well,
Those are
they
sick
do
people.
they do that to kids. Imagine what they do to the fucking grown-ups, you know? Where to the point that people that are innocent will eventually end up even thinking that they did it because they mess with their mind. They start messing with your head, and at the end you're like, did I do it? Like, what the fuck? You know, like, I don't even know what I did now, you know? Maybe I did do it.
Wait,
No, it's because if you read on that, read on it. There's so many false confessions that people that are innocent, and they actually find evidence of somebody else that did it, and these people still believe that they might have done it because they got
yeah,
so fucking mind fucked.
fuck, yeah.
Because these people are trained to do that shit, you know?
That's
It's
creepy, dude.
insane. It's fucking creepy and it's
It
crazy.
is. It's
But I
ugly.
mean, it's cool because they're trained to find the truth, but it sucks that sometimes they
They
just
could flip
like
it.
like this, they got exonerated because the media was so fucking focused on it that they said that the cops were like pressured to find someone and to blame it on someone. You know, that they were just going
Yeah,
after
that they
whoever
were
the
willing
fuck, you
to
know?
blame it on her.
So they got exonerated because of that, because they're like, you know what? There was a mess on the evidence. There was a fucking mess all around. And it was so fucking media based that they were just feeling so pressure to point the finger to anybody, you know?
Yeah, at anyone. And then they see this girl making out and they probably got
And they're
in
like,
their
no,
head like,
no.
oh, look at this girl's being weird. So let's say it was her.
And it was like, it was everywhere, like in Italy, right? So the Italian newspapers, it was always, that's what was selling
Especially
a
that
lot, you know?
guy. That guy got to my balls. The guy that's there, the one that
Es-
he I was like, dude,
El señor,
just
el,
because you see them dressed in Halloween as a fucking mummy with a fucking, oh, you're
and then
evil.
also,
And her
like,
Foxy Noxy.
there's, yeah, there's a part where they're interrogating her, and then she's like explaining because she had a phone, right? And she's explaining that she stayed over at her boyfriend's house because she wasn't gonna go to work the next day, or she didn't have to go to work or something like that.
Yeah,
And she
it's like,
says,
I'll see you
"I'll
later.
see you later." And the guy, I think there was a language barrier thing where they fucking like they see it in a different way. They're like, "Oh, you're gonna see him later? Why were you gonna see him later?" And she's like, "No, it's like how we say here, like, hey, we'll see you later." You know, it doesn't
Like
mean like, "Hey, I'm
later.
gonna see you later because
Later
we're
in
gonna
the
go
week,
kill."
it could be later in the
Yeah.
month, and it's
So
later is
she's like
later.
explaining, "No, I said I'll see you later because I wasn't gonna go." And they're like, "Oh no, you said we're gonna see you later. That means that you're gonna see
You
him
went
later
with
because
him.
you did see him later because you killed her."
Yeah.
And
You
she's
killed
like,
me.
and she's
But
like, "No."
and he said though that she had nothing to do with it. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
he took all the, because they found his DNA, in the girl's
Yeah.
body, but and her DNA wasn't even in there, but they were trying to say that she was there while the murder was happening, and
Mhm.
that she might have been drunk, and they also mentioned how when they she goes back to the crime scene, that she grabbed her head and started yelling,
Yeah.
and I was like, I don't know. The only thing for me was the blood and her showering. Like, why
Yeah.
wouldn't that freak you out?
Yeah. They're just like little things that are off, but then I don't know. I just,
I don't know, dude. I've seen a lot of like shows, and I don't know. I have a feeling that she might have been there while it was happening. She probably didn't know what was going on, but or knew something because I don't know.
and then also I was like, while watching it, I'm like looking at it and I'm like, maybe as humans, and there's been so many like social experiments where we tend to like, let's say this would have been a guy, and it wasn't Amanda Knox, it was a dude, and he looked not as cute as Amanda Knox because she's a cute girl, you know.
Yeah.
And as humans, we tend to look at a pretty girl and be like, no, she's innocent. No, she couldn't have done it. She's innocent, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
And if it would, what would have happened if this would have been a guy and he was like a normal guy, you know? Like, then we would have been more like, oh no, maybe he did do it.
Maybe he did,
Maybe he
yeah.
did. Like he, no, no,
And
no,
she
he
did
definitely
look
did.
so innocent,
And I
like,
think that played a big role because she looked like an innocent little girl. Like, well, she wasn't little. She was 20 something, 20, right? But oh, like she was in it. She looked, and she
there's
looked
love.
scared. And it like you feel for her because she's in Italy and she doesn't have her parents there. And then eventually they go and, pero pues,
I know, and like there's faces that she makes when they're like, well, when she's with her boyfriend there at the crime scene, and you can look at her facial expressions. Like, I'm not an expert, but to me, it looks like she doesn't really care.
and maybe she
Like,
didn't because she didn't know
she
this girl. Okay, think about this.
she
She didn't
hated
know
her.
this girl. She didn't know
Apparently
this
they were
girl.
battling with each other. Like, they didn't like each other,
They're
but
battling.
not just playing. But I mean, you will still feel bad whether you hated
Well,
the person or not.
dude, you would feel bad because it's a living person. Yeah, pero pues
Like, and that
think about
happened
it
at
this
your
way.
house.
Think about it this way. She's 20. She's young and in love. She's like fucking over here in love with her fucking guy, right? And she barely knew this girl like for a few weeks, maybe.
And
She
the
probably
guy
wasn't
too.
attached. Pues sí, pero a este güey le está
uh,
dando el dick acá.
Le está
Esa
dando
way,
familia.
no. So she was like I guess she was just scared that this happened and it's like, oh, it could have been me, but
But
I'm not gonna
go back
cry
and look
over
at that
it. I wouldn't
part.
have like if it would have been me, I wouldn't have cried either because I don't know the girl. She's my roommate, but I don't know her that well. Like it's not like we had like friendships like for years and
For
we're
a year or
like we
something.
barely knew each other. And if it was the case that we didn't like each other, then it's not like I'm gonna be happy, but I'm not gonna be crying either.
Well, yeah, nobody says she had to be crying. It's just that if you, I don't know, like I've seen, honestly, I've seen the documentary at least like 6 times, dude.
Tell
Like,
us
I've seen it.
about tell us about your little essay that you wrote about it.
Shut up, don't even, dude.
I love it. You're like,
I
oh,
got
by
so
the way, I
into
wrote
the
an essay
story,
on
dude.
her. Huh?
I got so into the story, like I really wanted to, like,
So, okay.
see if somebody was missing something.
I love
Like,
it.
I don't
Look
know
at
why, dude.
you. So, okay, seeing that you got more in like you're more knowledgeable on it, what do you think?
Well, I don't know.
At
That's
the
why
end of it, like what
I
like
feel like, I mean, I felt bad for her, don't get me wrong, because she's so young. She went to school. She was at another place where you didn't have anyone to look for you. You know, you were there on your own.
mhm,
And I mean, I felt bad for her, but there was something in me, dude, that was saying she knows more than she's saying. Like, it
yeah.
just, I don't know. Like, I honestly
Like there's
hope
something
she
more to
didn't.
the story.
But I think, yeah, I think there was a little bit more to the story.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying she did it because I don't think she had a part in it, but I feel like she kind of knew. Like, I don't know.
I don't know. And it's still a mystery.
And yeah, it is. So I think it's always gonna be a mystery. Maybe one of these days somebody says something, or maybe the guy that's in jail says, you know what, I'm tired of being in here and paying for this on my own. I don't know, dude. What do you think she's innocent though, right? You said.
I don't know. After watching it, I felt like I guess because that like when they see us, like the
That
movie that came to my
too.
mind every time, like when she mentioned like I told them about this guy, and they kept telling me like no this and that. So I told them what they wanted to hear, and then I kind of like played back like watching this series on the little kids, and I know they're a lot younger and everything. And it's easier to brainwash a little kid, I guess.
Yeah,
But
it
it's
is.
like I could just imagine, because and then I start like looking into false confessions and like things like that.
Yeah,
And I start like maybe I mean she's still a young little girl. They can still brainwash the fuck out of her. Even they can brainwash anybody, because they're
they
so
could.
trained.
Yeah,
They're so trained, and at the end you end up believing whatever the fuck they tell you to believe.
yeah.
And it could be that too. And
True.
it's
It
just
could
like
be
I
that
start
too.
thinking all these things, and I don't know. I'm telling you, and then this whole like there's been social experiments on how like people tend to feel for like a pretty person, you know, like a person who's attractive, and you're like, oh no, they couldn't do it. Like,
Like, no, güey,
no,
déjala ir, güey.
no, like, ay, ¿cómo va a matar a esta persona
Esa
si está bien
carita.
guapo? They can get it somebody else, you know? Like
Yeah.
there's no reason why they would do it. But
Sí,
then you
güey.
get another person for the same fucking crime that's not that attractive, that looks a
And you're
little,
like, oh, this
and you're
fucker
like,
did
oh
it.
no, that fucker looks like he would.
Pinche sucio, güey.
So that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. There's like they could have gotten a little bit more lenient on her because she was such a young, pretty girl,
Yeah. She
and they could
was
have been
pretty.
like, you know what I mean? But I don't know. It's just things that you're just like,
This
oh.
is something we're never gonna really know. Like, only they know what happened.
Although, and just kind of like piggybacking,
Yeah.
backing, piggybacking,
Piggyback. Yeah. Piggybacking.
piggybacking. On that note that you said, we'll never know. Jodi Arias will
Oh,
know that she did it because she confessed.
oh, yeah, that's right.
So Jodi Arias was another crazy chick that confessed to killing her ex-boyfriend.
Dude, that's crazy.
And the reason we're bringing her up was because there's footage of her being interrogated, and moments after the lady leaves, she's in the room and she starts doing like fucking what is it? What is it?
Handstands.
Handstands, hand flips, I was gonna say handstands. And then she's like singing like this fucking carol or like this Christmas song. And she just looks like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? You're being interrogated for a death,
For a murder. Like,
for
you're
a
gonna be
murder.
prison for a long time, probably, and you're there
And you look
partying.
very incriminating. Like this is all incriminating you, and you're still like, la 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 la. Let me do a headstand.
I'm gonna go ahead and stretch all the way.
I've been doing yoga. Let me see. Let me do a headstand. Dude, like seriously,
That's
you know
crazy.
that these places are fucking survey, like they have surveillance cameras, and
Dude, you should know already.
it
Yeah.
is a police station, and there should be fucking security everywhere. Like there's cameras everywhere. Like why the fuck would you do this, you
Would
know?
you do that? Well, but it's just probably crazy, dude.
That's what I'm saying. They think that she's a sociopath. And I mean, I know you didn't see the whole story, but I read a little bit to you. And how many times did I tell you she stabbed the guy 20 something times?
Like 27 times, I think it said.
27 times.
And she shot him once in the head.
It's like, oh, you're not going to die with 27. Let me shoot
I'm
you.
gonna make sure you're dead. Dude, I think like for something like that, you must really want a person dead
Like for
for
reals.
you to have
That's what
gone
I'm saying. She
all the way
played
to like stabbing and shooting at the same time. Like you probably had to think about like I don't know what happened first, stabbing or shooting,
mhm.
but either or, like if you stabbed them first, you still had to stop, go out of your way to get the gun, come back, and then be like, boom. You know what I mean? Like you had time to like cool down, but
I don't know, but it's insane.
it is, dude.
Like to say that you're like defending yourself, I can understand. Maybe stab him
And
three
then run
times,
away.
maybe once, twice,
Maybe 4 times tops.
because you're like trying to fight him, and maybe you might have, you know. But like 27 times and then still fucking shoot him in the head, or it's just insane, you know.
It just seems like you were making sure that fool was dead. Yeah, like
Yeah,
you wanted
and
him
it
dead.
could have been like a crime, like a crime of passion kind of thing, where you're so in the fucking moment that you just like boom, 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 you know, and like boom, 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 like. And there's been cases where people just kind of go out of
Lose it, but that's when
lose
they're
it.
cheating usually.
Yeah, but then they said like there's a thing here like on the documentary where the guy that she was seeing, um, no, I think the guy that she was seeing or whatever gave her a gas tank so she can put gas. And the reason why they say that's very like odd is because she didn't want to stop. Like she didn't want to stop anywhere and be seen like at a corner store and have evidence that she stopped there. on her way to go kill the guy, like she didn't live in the same city. So
So she
she
basically
took
had
a
a gas
fucking like
tank,
a gas tank thingy. I don't know what
so
they're
she
called.
didn't have to stop.
So in case she needed gas, she would just like
So she
fill
was
it up.
basically planning on
So
killing this
that's
dude
the reason why it's not like a crime of passion, because there's
with
like
evidence where it
it
looks
seems
like,
like
bitch,
it's like you fucking thought about it.
yeah, like you didn't want to stop and be seen anywhere and be like, maybe she was gonna try and cover it up, but she just went off the other side and she got caught anyway.
Exactly. So okay,
That is
let's
crazy.
give you a little backstory on this whole story. If you haven't seen it, there is a, I told you, right? There's a on Netflix, I think.
No, it's not on Netflix.
No, where is it? It's called, okay, the one that I saw was an American murder mystery, Jodi Arias. So that's the one I saw.
Little
And it is
Secret.
on
Yeah,
it's on
Pretty Little
Hulu.
Secret.
It's
Pretty
on
Little
Hulu.
Secret. Don't
Well,
lie.
there's a movie that they made and somebody else plays her, and I think it's a movie, but this one's a documentary and it shows footage of her, and
Where it's on Hulu?
this one's on Hulu, but
I might watch it today.
it's good.
I
So
watched the Richard Ramirez one on Netflix,
the
and
night
I'm watching one that's called the Staircase.
I started watching that one, but I didn't finish it.
I
Like I
have,
haven't finished it. It seems good too.
yeah, I think he's a murderer.
That's what I'm saying. He looks like a murderer.
Anyway, sorry to
He
derail.
does look like a murderer.
He looks weird, dude. And then all the blood, like, nah.
I don't know. I don't remember because I started watching it a little bit, but then I just kind of stopped watching it. So I don't remember.
All right, let's go back to
Hold
the
on, let
joke.
me.
So,
Okay, so backstory on Jodi Arias' story, or pretty much Travis. His name's Travis Victor Alexander, the guy who she murdered. So I guess his story. Um, so basically they met each other, right? Alexander and Arias dated intermittently for a year and a half, often in a long distance relationship, taking turns traveling between their respective Arizona and California homes. Okay, so Travis was he was what, like he was a Mormon, I told you, right?
yeah,
Was he a Mormon?
I don't know. You told me he
I
was.
think he was a Mormon. I don't know. I think I don't know.
Not
I think I might have made that up.
made it up, but
You
he
look like a
was.
Mormon. Look at us. Well, it says here after his that Alexander was a salesman and motivational speaker for prepaid legal services. But I swear they said he was a Mormon. Jodi Ann Arias, she was so Arias converted to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So yeah, he was a Mormon. With Alexander was a where Alexander was a member and was baptized by him on November 26th. And so Arias and Alexander began dating in February 2007. Arias moved to Mesa to live closer to Alexander. In April 2008, she moved to Eureka, California. I don't know if I'm saying that right. It's Yreka, and lived there with her grandparents. Alexander's friends who knew Arias and observed them together tended to have a negative opinion of her, stating that the relationship was unusually tumultuous and that Arias' behavior was worrying. So yeah, they were like a little off. Alexander was murdered on Wednesday, June 4th, 2008. He sustained 27 to 29 stab wounds and slit throat and a gunshot wound to the head. Medical examiner Kevin Horn testified that Alexander's jugular vein, common carotid, carotid artery, and trachea had
Oh,
been
she was in.
slashed. They had been slashed, and that Alexander had defensive wounds on his hands. Horn further testified that Alexander may have been dead at the time the gunshot was inflicted, and that the back wounds were shallow. Alexander's death was ruled a homicide. He was buried at Riverside's Olivewood Memorial Park Cemetery. So he had wounds. I guess he was
I'm trying to
attacking.
cover probably the stab
And
wound.
you see this girl, she's tiny, you know, she's a tiny girl.
You think that maybe she got him like while he was sleeping or something?
I think so. I mean, come on.
Because you're not, if you're a guy, dude, and you see your little girlfriend coming at you with a knife, like, wouldn't you like,
Punch her.
pow,
I
just
would have
knock her
punched her
out,
and
or
she would have been
yeah,
knocked out.
or something? Especially because the guy looks pretty big,
Yeah.
and I feel like maybe she did it like while he was sleeping, cut his throat maybe a little bit, and he got up all cooked
Well,
out.
because she looks like, okay, this is the thing. She looks like she was so into this guy that, okay, so this is what happened, okay? Discovery and the investigation of the whole thing. In early 2008, Alexander told people that Arias would join him for a work related trip to Cancun, Mexico, scheduled for June 15th. In April, Alexander asked to change his travel companion to another female friend. On May 28th, a burglary occurred at the residence of Arias' grandparents with whom Arias was living. Among the missing objects was a 25 caliber automatic Colt pistol, which was never recovered. So they say, she broke into her own grandparents' house and took their gun.
Oh,
Okay. This later became significant as the shell case from a spent .25 caliber round was found near Alexander's body at the murder scene.
so they
Okay.
connected the missing gun.
They're like, okay, it's so weird that days before this whole shit happened, the grandparents' house was burglarized and they took their gun.
The gun that was used in this murder scene.
Yeah, on June 2nd, between 1 to 3 a.m., Arias called Alexander 4 times, but did not appear to get through to him, since the longest of the calls was 17 seconds. After 3 a.m., Alexander called Arias twice, the first time for 18 minutes, the second time for 41 minutes. At 4:03 a.m., Arias called Alexander back, and the call lasted 2 minutes, 48 seconds.
That was the last call?
Yeah. Neither of these calls nor their transcripts were presented in Arias' trial. Um, at 5:39 a.m., Arias set out to drive south to rent a car for a long trip to Utah, as shown by evidence of a gasoline purchase in Reca, California. On June 2nd at 8:04 a.m., Arias rented a car at Redding, California. She indicated she would return the car in Redding. Arias visited friends in Southern California on her way to Utah for a People Work conference and to meet with Ryan Burns, a People coworker, or PPL. That's what it is.
PPL?
Yeah, this is where they used to work, I guess, or whatever.
Okay.
By late evening on June 3rd, Arias apparently set out for Salt Lake City. Alexander missed an important conference call, and the evening of June 4th, the following day, Arias met up with Burns in Salt Lake City suburb of West Jordan, Utah, and attended business meeting for the conference. Oh, and attended meetings for the conference. Burns later said he noticed Arias' formerly blonde hair was now dark brown. So she changed her hair. And she had cuts on her hands.
That's crazy.
On June 6th, she left Salt Lake City and drove west towards California. She called Alexander several times and left several voicemail messages for him. She also assessed his cell phone voicemail system.
So she called his
Assessed?
voicemail.
So she went
Access.
into, yeah. When Arias returned the car on June 7th, it had been driven about 2,800 miles. which is 4,500 kilometers. The rental clerk testified that the car was missing its floor mats and had red stains on its front and rear seats. It could not be verified that the car had floor mats when Arias picked it up, and any stains could have been verified since the car was cleaned before police could examine, so they couldn't verify whether.
Hey.
It's just a little suspicious, right? On June 9th, having been unable to reach Alexander on a concerned group of friends went to his home. The roommates had not seen him for several days, but they believed he was out of town and thus did not think anything was
Up on the
amiss. Yeah, after finding a key to Alexander's master bedroom, his friend entered and found large pools of blood in the hallway to the master bathroom, where his body was discovered in the shower. That's crazy, dude. In the 911 call, the dispatcher asked if Alexander had been suicidal or anything was angry. If anyone was angry enough to hurt him, Alexander's friends specifically mentioned Arias as a possible suspect, stating that Alexander had said that she was stalking him, accessing his Facebook account, and slashing his tires.
What
While
a psycho.
searching Alexander's home, police found recently purchased digital camera damaged in the washing machine. Police were able to recover deleted images showing Arias and Alexander in sexual suggestive poses taken at approximately 1:40 p.m. on June 4th. The final photograph of Alexander alive showing him in the shower was taken at 5:29 p.m. that day.
So I bet you he was in the shower.
Maybe
He went
they
to go
were
get a knife and then just started stabbing him in there.
photos taken moments later shown an individual believed to be Alexander profusely bleeding on the bathroom floor. A bloody palm print was discovered along the wall of in the bathroom hallway. It contained DNA from both Alexander and Arias. On July 9, 2008, Arias was indicted by a grand jury in Maricopa County, Arizona, for the first degree murder of Alexander. She was arrested at her home 6 days later and extradited to Arizona on September 5th. Arias pleaded not guilty on September 11th. During the time, she gave several different accounts about her involvement in Alexander's death. She originally told police that she had not been in Mesa on the day of the murder and had last seen Alexander in March of 2008. Arias later told police that two intruders had broken into Alexander's house, murdering him and attacking her. 2 years after her arrest, Arias told police that she killed Alexander in self-defense, claiming that she had been a victim of domestic violence.
Yeah, right. She was psycho, dude.
Dude, it's insane
You can tell
because
without everything that you were telling me right now about the evidence. Like, there's pictures that she was there, on those dates.
it's just
The
too
last
much.
picture was in the shower. Obviously, is when she killed him because they found him in the shower.
Yeah, it's just too much. And then, like I'm telling you, like if you haven't seen the documentary, you should look into it. But the footage of her being interrogated and then like the lady leaves and then she's like fucking acting all fucking weird.
Like,
And it's
yeah.
like, yeah, I understand that people can act different and doesn't mean that they did
Not
it. But
like
in
that,
this case,
doesn't.
she fucking said she did it. She fucking confessed she did it. But the thing that she confesses of doing it is like, yeah, dude, like self defense.
No.
Like she cut his throat, like
She
29
stabbed him
times.
27 to 29 times.
And then she still
She
fucking
shot
killed,
him.
like she shot him.
So,
So
and the gun was missing before the murder happened. So it also leads you to think that she was planning it since a long time ago. Like, I'm going to kill this fool. So it doesn't seem like self defense.
yeah,
Because she
it does
obviously was
not.
planning this shit from a long time ago. Especially right now when you told me that she had a gas tank. Like, she obviously was going to try and
She
cover her
did.
track,
It's insane. It's fucking insane. And it's like, I mean, the reason we brought her story is because of the way she's acting in interrogation, like, and how people were like, yeah, this bitch is fucking, there's something off about her.
And she is off.
And and that I'm telling you, like, the lady that or she was saying that she dated the guy afterwards, and he stated, oh yeah, I have a stalker, and she fucking breaks into my house sometimes, and then she sleeps in my couch, or like, she fucking
She's
slits my,
obviously not all there.
yeah. So I don't know, it's fucking crazy chick,
It
and then
makes you
you see
think
her,
about
she looks all
oh,
like tiny, and I'm like, fuck, this girl really did this shit,
it kind of looks creepy already. Like I'm looking at the images of her, like
And it's insane
she
because, okay,
looks crazy.
insane because, like, at the end, like, how they let like family members talk and read whatever they want to say to the
To
person,
her,
and they're all like saying, like, yeah, he was a big brother, he was a really good person, whatever, blah blah. And then they let her talk, and then she's like, I'm sorry this happened to him, blah blah blah. And then she, like, at the end, she's like, but I made these fucking these shirts that say, victims of domestic violence and this and that. And I'm like, bitch, really? Like, really?
like there's no way, bitch, that shit was self defense.
It's just, it's
He
insane.
seems. I mean, she does seem kind of crazy though. I'm looking at her pictures, her and him.
Yeah.
Damn.
I don't know. Maybe, I mean, maybe the guy wasn't like un santito, like he was probably a
Yeah,
guy, like a
pero
dick or whatever, right? To her. But that doesn't give you the right to kill them. Or maybe she got pissed because she was supposed to go to this trip with him, and that must have meant that since she was really into him, that must have meant like, oh yeah, we're gonna get back together or whatever. And then it turns out that he was going with somebody else, and she was
somebody
like, "Fuck
else.
you, dude! Like, don't play with my emotions."
It's crazy,
And she was already
dude.
like, you know,
She kind of does look crazy. She's kind of pretty in some pictures, but she looks creepy.
I don't know. But
Ooh.
yeah, it's insane. From all of these, I thought the Chris Watts one was like the one that like not affected me the most because like
I mean,
it kind of did, like you just
because
fucking think about it, like
dude, like, I just feel like you shouldn't have done that. Like, she seemed like such a nice lady, and I mean, the kids, that's what got me the most. Like, the
like
kids, and then
they're
all she wanted was for him to love her, like, and you fucking kill her, like, and not only that, like, your kids, like,
those niñas,
she's
like
just like,
tan chiquitas, like they're small and
pobrecitas,
they're
like, they had nothing to do with what was going on between them. Like, I don't know, it was too much. Like, he
and
was,
the way that, like, okay, so going back to this story because it's just crazy. um the way he tells the guy, like, that he woke up that day and he was like, oh no, it's this, I'm gonna do it already, like I'm gonna break up with her, I can't do this anymore, I don't love her or whatever. And then he says that he goes, they're in bed. So he
like, there
says
it is.
that he woke up that day and then he got up on her, like straddled her, like, like grabbed, like got up on her,
And strangled.
and I guess strangled her. But he's like, the guy's like, what? Like, if I would do that, like, the investigator or the police officer was like, if I would do that to my wife, she'd be pissed off, like, don't fucking do that shit,
Yeah.
Oh, that supposedly he got on top of her and they were talking. And I'm like, bitch, this lady was pregnant, first of all.
Like, how are you gonna get on her like that?
And that they were talking and he told her that he didn't love her anymore and that whatever, blah blah blah, and that she was like devastated or whatever. But I'm guessing because the girl already kind of knew that he was cheating on her.
I think they probably tried to talk about it and she was just crying, or she probably just didn't want to lose him or something, because it looked like she really loved him.
We'll see.
And I think he was just like, I'm gonna kill this bitch or something, like, but still,
like how
I feel bad about her.
I'm gonna kill her because she can. I'd rather her be dead than suffer. What the fuck?
Dude, I don't know.
Suffer without my presence. Like,
I don't
really? How fucked
know.
up of a person are you? Like, you're so self-absorbed, and it's like, oh no, I know she'd rather be dead than without me.
Dude, but the kids, like, fuck, dude. Like, that's like one thing, like, you don't do
Las
that.
niños. Las niñas.
Pobrecita.
And then you see videos of, oh,
You
it's
see
just
videos
sad.
of them, dude, and then they're there with their dad, and
This whole documentary, like, and it made me cry. Like, I teared up because I was like, fuck, the little girls, like when he said, I played, like, when he starts crying, actually crying at the end, when he say, like, oh yeah, like, she said, no, daddy, whatever. And that made me like, fuck, like, not because he's crying, I feel for him. It's just like, because
like the little
I
girl
could just
actually
imagine
saying
that
it.
moment. The little girl knowing like what happened to
What's gonna
Bella or what
happen?
happened
Yeah.
to Celeste or whatever her name is. And
And her
then
mom.
knowing that she was in danger and she can sense it, and that she can sense it, and even saying like, no, dad, don't, or no, dad, or whatever. And then him still fucking going through it,
You're still having the heart to
like thinking that
I
this is a way
know.
out. Like, this is a way out to fucking out of my responsibilities as a father. This is the way out, and nobody's ever gonna find out. Like, bitch, who the fuck do you think you are? First of all,
That's crazy.
it's just
I don't
insane.
know. I thought it was a crazy story.
I just fucking like, it's something that I just don't understand, that why
How
people would
people can,
think
yeah, that
how they
murder
could be
someone.
so fucking heartless, and and
Like,
think
just
that
leave
this
him.
is my way out. Like, I wrote down my options, and this is this is the best
This is
one.
what I'm gonna do,
Like,
man.
bitch, really? You could have
And
just
they end up
been
in jail, dude. And it's like, dude, you're
fucking.
fucking now you don't even have the girl you wanted to be with in the first place because you're in jail. So good luck with all those dudes. And
And you
like,
know what happens to
did
people
it.
that fucking do shit like this? I mean, they know people, like the guards and the fucking officers fucking tell on them, like, yeah, this fucker did this to whatever, and they get their ass beat, and they're fucking, you know.
Time to be alive, start a podcast, become a DJ, try and fill the void inside. I'd be lying if I didn't say that sounds nice. Wake up, check your phone, but the batteries die.